What is up and what is going on, guys? This is me, 9L141, and today I have a Star Wars Battlefront beta video for you. Now, Star Wars is probably one of my favorite series of all times, and I'm definitely not alone with that thought, because let's be honest, who doesn't like Star Wars? I mean, Star Wars has basically been a part of almost everybody's childhood, and it's really hard to deny the impact that it has had on movies but also on games. Star Wars is one of those series where it's really difficult to fuck up with a game when it comes down to it, because you can make almost any genre with Star Wars and it would very likely fit. The universe itself has a lot of depth, there is a lot of room to expand, but unfortunately not very many games have been made in the Star Wars universe, especially recently. We had classics like Knights of the Old Republic, Jedi Academy, and the first two Battlefronts, but these days we don't really have a lot of Star Wars games. The latest one was the Old Republic, and not very many people actually like that. Now, for me, just the sole idea, the sole thought of playing as a rebel and shooting at stormtroopers with my blaster is basically more than enough to buy me. I mean, this kind of immersion, this experience that Battlefront offers is definitely unparalleled at this point. But before we get into that, let me talk to you a bit about the current developers of Battlefront, and that being DICE. Now, for those of you who do not know, the first two Star Wars Battlefronts were developed by Pandemic Studios. However, Pandemic Studios does not exist anymore, so the new Star Wars Battlefront is being developed by DICE. And they are the developers of the famous Battlefield series. Now, the reason why I was very skeptical about Star Wars Battlefront was because I knew about that fact. I mean, I honestly said to myself, look, I'm going to download the beta and I'm going to play it because that's the only time when I'm ever going to play this game. I have no interest in this game. It looks exactly like Battlefield. They fucked it up, blah 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 blah. The reason for this is because Battlefield 4 is a game that I severely dislike. I love Battlefield 3, I love Bad Company 2, and I generally love all of the games in the Battlefield series except for 4. So naturally, when that game released, I kind of lost faith in DICE. I thought that all of their games are going to be made like that, and I just kind of didn't really care about Battlefront at all. Much to my surprise, however, Battlefront is nothing, and I say absolutely nothing, like Battlefield 4. Battlefront plays completely differently. I mean, it looks very similar, the animations are the same, but let me tell you, it plays nothing like it. In fact, the people that try to play it like Battlefield 4 are the ones that I kill the most often and the ones that almost always lose the match. This game is a lot more arcadey. It is much less competitive. It's not, you don't have so many tryhards playing this game. These people that basically just stand up on top of the hills and camp and protect the rush points. You don't really have so many people that actually play this game. DICE actually managed to recreate the Battlefront experience as best as they possibly could. We know that there's a lot of stuff missing, but we're not going to go into that right now. What I meant to say is this is definitely not Battlefield. I mean, if you've played it, you will understand what I'm talking about. It plays completely differently, and that is definitely a good thing. Now, this beta has a lot of pros and a lot of cons, and I kind of wanted to go over all of them in this video. So the map you're seeing right now is Solost, and we're playing Drop Pod. In this objective, as you can see, you have to basically get on the pod, cap it, and then wait for a certain period of time and you get a point. The first team to get to 5 points wins. This game type is actually fairly balanced. There are no vehicles here, and there are no hero units here. So you just have infantry, and you just have whatever weapon you equipped. The pods appear randomly, which is kind of bullshit because it's a luck game. If they appear closer to you, you will basically capture it. You will be at a severe advantage. They don't have a set way in which they drop, so they just drop completely randomly all over the map. However, apart from this simple fact, this is actually a very balanced game type compared to what follows after this video, which is Walker Assault on Hoth. We'll go into that a bit later. So as you can see, you have plenty of abilities which you can use. I use the jetpack and the grenade because they simply are the most useful, and I use them basically all the time. But there's also, for example, the Ion Blaster, which upgrades your weapon so that it will deal more damage to vehicles. There's a Cycler Rifle, which is basically a sniper rifle. So in this game, the sniper rifle is not a weapon. You equip it as a card, and along with your weapon, you can pull out the sniper, shoot it once, and then it has a 7 or 10 second cooldown before you can use it again, which I think is kind of cool. You also have the shield, which you saw me use several times, which is infinitely useful, and all that stuff. But basically, this game type is rather balanced because both sides have an equal chance of winning. I mean, it really doesn't matter if you're playing on the Empire or on the Rebel side. They're basically identical, and there is not too much of a difference between them. It doesn't really matter which side you get put on. And as I said that, we are now entering into the second map on the second game type. This is Walker Assault on the map Hoth. You probably recognize this one, and this is a completely different story. This is a complete 180 spin from what I said about the other map, because who you play basically determines whether or not you win. You see, here we're playing the Empire, and in these first couple of minutes you will see me doing some pretty random shit. I actually, for one, I just was desperately trying to get up on this hill which you're looking at, and I just really couldn't do it. It was embarrassing. I was not doing anything. I wasn't preventing them from capping, and I was dying. The end, we absolutely decimated the rebels. I mean, I don't know if they intentionally wanted to replicate the series as best as possible to basically force the rebels to lose on Hoth, but they definitely achieved that. The rebels never win on Hoth. Like, they basically, I don't think I've seen them win once. Sure, you can do it, but the thing is, you need to have a team of good players to stand a chance against a team of terrible Imperial players. Because when you're playing the Empire, you literally don't have to do anything. The rebels are on a time limit, and if they don't destroy the AT-ATs by that time limit, they lose. It is insanely difficult. They have no vehicles, and the turrets can actually be used against them. In fact, the turrets are in such positions that it makes me think that they were made to be used against them. You will see me later on in this video basically go on a turret which is in front of the rebel hangar, that one to the right, and I will basically get about, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 kills. It's ridiculous. Now, what I want to talk about is generally why I don't think these things are that big of a problem, because, I mean, this is Hoth. Just the sole idea of being able to play on Hoth is enough to forgive basically everything. The immersion level here, the level of awesomeness when you're charging, it's epic. And yeah, you can't get rid of snipers no matter what game you're playing. Now, at about this point, I start to get a little bit better. Things start picking up. I didn't remember if I managed to get into the TIE Fighter, but I know I managed to get into the AT-ST, which brings us to the next problem, and that is vehicle domination. I mean, the AT-ST is so godlike when you're playing the Empire and so fucked when you're playing the Rebels that I don't need to say anything. You will see me when I enter it. The gameplay clip will basically speak for itself. Spawns. The spawns, if I tell you right now that the spawns are worse than any Call of Duty, you probably won't believe me. But I tell you, they definitely are. There is spawn protection for about 2 to 3 seconds, but there are no spawn zones like there are in Battlefield, which is, I think, one of the few things that I actually like about the newer Battlefields, mainly Battlefield 4. Because if you don't have spawn zones, then that means someone can literally get up into your spawn and spawn rape you. And guess what? That's exactly what will happen in this gameplay. It's what happens almost every time. If you have a partner, if you have a few friends and you go up behind enemy lines, you will absolutely decimate the enemy team. So all of these balance issues, they're all there. But that absolutely doesn't detract from the experience, and that's something which I wanted to talk about right now. These days, FPSs are, unfortunately for me, they're getting a bit dull. If I'm playing Call of Duty and I'm not winning or I'm not on a high streak, I'm just not having fun. That's very sad. It's very sad that I absolutely have to win or get the high streak, get tons of kills to even have fun at the game. That's the same for me in Battlefield, and it's the same for me in Counter-Strike. I need to win in these games to even have fun, and if I don't win, let's say I lose about 5 to 10 matches, I'm just going to stop playing the game. Hoth, so far, has never been like that. I play with the Rebels, and I know that I'm going to lose, but I'm here just for the ride. I mean, it's awesome. This game is great. It feels great. It really depicts the Star Wars movies, or rather movie, excellently. It really does not have any flaws when it comes down to immersion and the overall experience. With all that said, I think it should be noted that that's not really going to mean a lot for the game in the end. I mean, having a great experience really doesn't mean as much for a game as balance does, because if they don't fix some of these things when the game launches, then I fear this game is not going to last very long. And this is what I was talking about, you know, the turret being right in front of the Rebel hangar. So, I think this game has a lot of potential. This game could be great, but DICE needs to definitely fix a lot of things before this game launches. They said this was just to be like some kind of a stress test, performance test, whatever, not really a balance test. On that end, I can say this game crashes definitely way less than Battlefield 4 did even at launch. This game crashes about a couple of times a day for me, whereas in Battlefield 4 in the first, let's say, 2-3 weeks, I couldn't finish a match at all. It just crashed all the time. Huge issues, and it goes without saying that that must not happen for Battlefront. They must not have these crashes. We will not allow that. I mean, this is not Battlefield. You don't have the kind of fan base that Battlefield does, because no matter how long it took Battlefield 4 to get fixed, people are still playing it because they're the hardcore Battlefield fans. They're gonna play it no matter what. This game doesn't really have that kind of fan base anymore. People kind of, the old Battlefront players, they probably won't pick this up, so you have a bunch of new people, and these people are gonna go if they can't play the game. Now, before I continue, here this is exactly what I was talking about. Being in an ATST feels badass and it's awesome, it looks awesome and all that stuff. But as you will see, it's not exactly fair, and that's a hell of an understatement. It's not fair at all. You can get 15 kills, no sweat. In fact, I remember when I picked this up once, I rushed, I spawned into the map first, I got used the jetpack, got the ATST, and I got 20 and 0 in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game. So yeah, they definitely need to fix performance issues, no crashes, I don't want any of that, no disconnects, even though I've not had a single disconnect ever since I started playing the beta. No disconnects, in fact I noticed very little lag as well, which is quite honestly very surprising. So that's number one when it comes to the technical stuff. Number two is Origin, or whatever it is that's preventing me from playing with my friends. If I see 3 out of 4 of my friends online, one of them sees only one of us online, the third one sees all 4 of us, and the fourth one doesn't see anyone online, then obviously there's a problem with the game. And if it takes us 15 to 20 minutes to even start playing the game together, then that's kind of a problem. Oh, and whoever thought that the new and innovative partner system, which reduces the number of people you can have in your squad from 4 to 2, is an idiot. Because I don't want to have a partner. I want all 4 of us to be in the same squad and be able to spawn on each other. So that's pretty stupid. I kind of get the feeling that that's not going to go away because it's quote-unquote innovative, but whatever. This, by the way, is the best part of Walker Assault, this final part when you're charging the trenches and the rebels just have no chance. You decimate them completely. And I could have bailed out of this ATST, but I decided not to. For whatever reason. I decided to, you know, just take like a man, die, and keep playing the game. But basically, yeah, they need to fix the performance issues. Network issues are not as prevalent as they were in Battlefield 4. Connecting to my friends, that definitely needs to be fixed. I don't want to have to go through this shit. I don't want to have to connect for 15 minutes. We're asking each other, yeah, can you see me? Can you invite me? Blah, blah, blah. That takes way too long. I don't want any of that. And they need to rebalance stuff. They need to fix spawns. They need to give rebels a fighting chance on Hoth. They need to make Jedi fights less derpy. Heroes in general work very, very well. Luke and Darth both feel awesome. They play awesome. But when they go into a lightsaber duel, they just kind of phase out of the map. So there's mostly minor things that they need to fix. Also, I should note 2 more things about vehicles. First of all, flying is awesome. This is the first DICE game where I could actually fly and not only dogfight, but also do strafing runs and contribute to the team. In fact, I prefer flying to being on the ground, which I never had in any of the battlefields. Flying is awesome. Yeah, it feels awesome. It sounds awesome. It's really good. Very well done. Congratulations, DICE. The turrets, on the other hand, which also count as vehicles, not so much. Not so much. Aiming in the turrets is a nightmare. I mean, if you get like 3 or 4 shots on the same person, you're clearly a god, because I don't know if they have built-in mouse acceleration or if their sensitivity is just 4 times higher than it should be, but aiming turrets is a fucking nightmare. I don't know what the deal is, but those definitely need to be fixed. Especially because that's the rebels' only way to defend against vehicles. You'd think they'd work a little better. Also, when it comes down to turrets, I think that the Imperials should not be able to man them. Basically, now I'm just nitpicking, I'm going into the little details. Overall, I think this game is going to be great. They definitely did not betray the Star Wars Battlefront experience. I'm seeing myself having lots and lots of fun in this game. If they can just fix the balancing issues, and if they get a launch that is decent, that's good, that's not Battlefield 4, if I can play with my friends whenever I please without any difficulties, then I think this game truly has the potential to surpass both Call of Duty and Battlefield. I know that sounds like a lot, and I know some of you are going to be like, no way, but I do really think so. This game has a whole ton of potential, and it definitely was a pleasant surprise for me, and I do sincerely hope that DICE doesn't let us down. Well, guys, that was it for the video. If you've played the Battlefront beta, why don't you write down in the comments what you thought of it, and as always, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and all of that. This is your boy Night Owl, signing off.